Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Welcome to Lady Journey, everybody.
Welcome to Lady Journey.
Welcome. We are going to do a crystal dedication.
Nice.
This is the Prenite. This is one of our ones from our sweet friend Jacob E. Downey, who was kind enough to give us some of the amazing crystals. This crystal is going to be dedicated to Ellen. Ellen, thank you so much for joining the Patreon. We're dedicating this Prenite to you. It's a gorgeous green color.
It looks like a little butthole right here.
Oh, yeah.
Because it puckers.
I love the shape of it. It kind of, you know what it really reminds me of? It reminds me of those candies. Remember those Warhead candies?
Yes.
Like that cut in half. That's what that reminds me of.
What if it was like, this is a Warhead.
Ellen, eat it. Ellen, I'm dedicating this Prenite to you. So you can see this is what Sarah was referring to as the butthole.
And that's it's going to center your chakra.
It's going to center your butthole.
Because it's off to the side
it
a
is
little
a little
bit.
off to the side.
That's probably what
Mulabunda.
why your life is not going right.
Your life is, well, you're on a lady journey. We know that much. You're on a lady journey. And this stone is actually for unconditional love, and the crystal heals the holder. Oh my God, I can feel it working. Ellen, I hope you have a lot of healing on your journey.
What's the price tag on that one?
Yeah, what is the price tag? Well, we got this one for free
$20.
from Jacob. So check out Jacob E. Downey. He does his own rock cutting on YouTube, and he's a wonderful, he's a journeyer. Anybody, if you want to join our Patreon, please do.
Yes,
we
bonus
need money.
every Saturday. Although I forgot, so I had to do it late Saturday.
That's okay. We're on a
But
mom
it's there.
schedule.
It's there, and
on a mom
then
schedule.
you get to binge a month's worth of episodes every month.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, with no commercials.
And if we come to your town, which we probably won't because we're not really on the road that much.
No.
I'm on the road a little bit. I'll be in Seattle. I'm going to be in Hawaii.
I'll be at Buffalo. No, where's Lark Street Tavern? Albany.
Sarah's going to be in Albany, and you're going to be in Tacoma.
I'll be in Tacoma this summer on my own.
Yeah. Oh, I should come and open for you. Wouldn't that be fun?
Please do.
I'll hold
you can,
Marty.
You know what? You can get the hotel, and I will stay with friends.
Oh my gosh, that would be great.
Yeah.
I can hold Marty. We can take him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, come see us in Tacoma, Washington.
Tacoma.
But today's topic now. So as everyone knows, I am to be wed.
She got the ring.
I am to be wed, and I have been doing. Actually, when I started talking with my fiance a while ago
Are you
about
planning yet?
Well, so what we're doing is we have a venue. We have a couple venues in mind, but they're in Florida. So we can't go look at them until a few months because we're traveling and stuff. And we have this big Hawaii trip, which stay tuned because I'm going to do a whole Hawaii food episode. I'm going to be eating poke and the
They have good bakeries
Portuguese
there, if I
donuts.
remember.
Yeah, I can't wait. So, but what I'm doing now is more like conceptualizing. I really want to keep the wedding small, which I think is going to be hard because I've already had people asking me like, oh,
Especially with like an Italian family you're coming into.
And my family's big too. I don't want to have a wedding where I'm excluding people.
Right.
But I also don't want to be paying for this for the rest of my life.
The most awkward thing, guest listing. We did the guest list. We started asking around people's address. We sat on those addresses for a year.
Okay.
Friendships changed.
Yes. Oh my God.
And then some people didn't get asked where their address was a year later.
That's hilarious.
And
Well,
I
you
felt
have to.
so bad, but you're like, we made some changes. And then when you look back on it, you're like, I definitely wouldn't have had that person because I didn't know that they weren't going to be in my life that much longer.
That's what I feel like.
Not out of ill will. It wasn't like I've been cutting people left and right. It's just time and distance. Yeah.
Well, if somebody like moves away, you lose touch with them. It's like, what can you do? This is the nature of adult friendships. And I think
very
also
awkward and weird.
When you have friendships that are like workplace friendships, it's like these are friends for a season, right? Like,
yeah. Would I be friends with them outside? Would I continue this relationship outside of?
Would I have any friends outside of? Yeah. So we're more kind of in the conceptualizing phase of like, what do we want? What are our ideas? And one of the things that I have been for a while now, ever since we started talking about getting married, is I've been looking into these various wedding traditions, the history behind them. And it's really kind of mind-blowing in a way because they're archaic, they're patriarchal.
They're medieval.
Yeah, they're ancient like the ring, for example, like the ring, I talked about this in the engagement episode a little bit, but like the ring is an ancient Roman tradition to be like, this woman is owned.
Yes.
Stay away from my woman. Of course, it wasn't a diamond ring.
Well, now I feel like it's a symbolism of this guy can afford 3 months' salary to put away something, so he is now marriage material.
Yes.
But I've never cared about the engagement ring.
I'm totally of the mind of like, I want to be married for love.
Yeah.
I want to be married for love. So why would I want to have a huge ring to be like, I'm marrying for money?
But it is very nice to get.
Well, I don't mind. Wouldn't mind I might stack. I might be getting a stacking ring.
It's one of the good looking patriarchal.
It's true. When I do see a big diamond, I'm like, I love it.
It's not a bruise over the head.
It's a little different.
It's not gaslighting.
Yeah. It's one that works in your favor. It's alimony. It's the alimony of the finger.
Yes.
So there's other things too, like going down the aisle is one that I looked into. And it's like the aisle is this ceremonial, almost like a property exchange. So I'm thinking like, do I want to, it's a lot of work to do a completely non-traditional wedding. Let's be honest. Am I going to reinvent the wheel?
Yes.
For a dinner party with friends and family. Now, I have a friend. He happens to be a gay guy marrying another man. They're planning their wedding. And he was telling me, he's like, obviously we're having a completely new wedding. We don't want to do these traditions. We want to reimagine the entire thing. I was like, great. Yes, sounds like a lot of work. But even he was like, at a certain point, it's like, well, okay, we're going to go down the aisle. Okay, we're going to have speeches. It's like there are some things that you do want to incorporate because you want to have the structure so it feels like a wedding.
Yes. Can I tell you one of the traditions that I think is weird?
Yes. Yeah.
And this was kind of funny, and I tried to do it as a bit, but it is too weird. So the father-daughter dance.
Yes. Yeah.
So Ari, I will drop a name. Ari Shafir.
Yeah.
After the wedding goes, are you and your dad close? And I was like, yeah. He's like, y'all's dance seemed kind of weird. Or you guys felt like off a little. And I was like, well, what do you want from us?
Yeah, like
what? And in my mind, I'm like, I wanted to respond with, oh, yeah, it's really weird that you brought that up. My dad molested me when I was younger, and we really worked through it. But there's still some hidden resentments, and I can't believe you picked up on that in the dance.
Are you a psychic? Yeah, I mean,
it's fucking weird. And I felt like both of my dad, like, we did it and it is sweet, but at the same time, you're like, I think both of us were fine with it. And there was sweetness in other parts of the wedding. Like his speech was all I needed, and that was the sweetness that I liked. Yeah, not the dance, because dancing in certain cultures, like in Bollywood, it's symbolism of like a consummation of the relationship.
Yes. I did not look up the history of the father-daughter dance. I did not look up the history of that, but like a lot of these, like the garter, for example, like a lot of these medieval wedding traditions, it would be like, okay, so you guys get married, your whole friends and family are there, and then they all go into the room to watch you have sex. And the garter is supposed to symbolize
what if you guys did that?
Yeah, like, come on in, everybody. Big Italian wedding.
You should just say that. Just make an announcement and be like, just kidding.
And we will be having sex. And so it was like the reason that the garter toss became like traditionalized was because instead of letting the whole family in to like watch you do a porn, you would throw like a scrap of the bride's clothing out of the room to like throw everyone off the scent and be like, it's happening. So yeah, like I have been asking people on stage for a while now, like, oh, are you going to throw the garter at the wedding? And some people are like, yeah. And some people are like, ew. No, absolutely not. Because it is like, this is a family party. And like, I don't know that I want to be like exposing my inner thigh. And like, they're always like doing like teasing it. Like, uh-oh. Like, I'm looking at my uncle right now. Like, no. Like, I'm sorry, no.
It is, yes. There are certain things in the wedding tradition. It's embarrassing in modern standards. And you're like, it is really weird that we're still perpetrating
clinging to this. Like, what can we do for the structure of the wedding that isn't like the bride being walked down the aisle by her father? Like, that's such a sweet moment. But, you get to the end And they're like, who gives this woman away? And it's like, well, my cousin did a great thing. Cousin, friend of the family. She had the dad go, she gives herself, which was very fun. It was
sweet.
a fun theatrical moment.
Nice.
But like usually the history of the dad walking you down the aisle is that like if the groom got spooked, I guess, and decided he wanted to run away at the last minute, the looming presence of the dad is supposed to kind of like bully him into like accepting the commitment.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know that I want to. Is that what we want?
I just feel like Mike could probably take on your dad. And I've never met Katie's dad.
Then the bride's father and the groom will wrestle. Like, Dad, no, that would be terrible.
Well, also Mike's a collegiate wrestler.
Mike, yeah, that would be insane.
That
I know. It's like, and by the way, my dad's going to be bringing a mule as well to pacify the groom into now paying for my phone bill.
Honestly, I would love to see a wedding do old traditions, and it just
all the
be
ancient
everyone's
ones.
just like just shocked.
You're coming down the aisle with a mattress and like 3 bags of flour. and the groom. Well, there's one too. I see this in a lot of Asian cultures where the bride, because she's leaving her family, especially for like younger girls, like part of the tradition is like crying. You know, you see this, and I even read about this in a book that I was reading called Lady Tan's Circle of Women, which is set in like 16th century China. It's a great read, but that was part of her wedding they go through in the book, and it's like super precise and ceremonial. But there is a point where like the bride is crying and like you're witnessing her crying because she's leaving her family. She's like never going to go home again.
Well, yeah, she has to live with her husband's family forever.
Yeah, and it's
and
like
take care of his dead parent.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know if we
parents.
we don't want to have any crying. I'm going to skip over that one. The tradition of the white wedding dress. Now, wedding dress, I did read. This is a Chinese tradition, but however, it was a red dress. But wearing, and then white came more in, I think, the Victorian era to symbolize the bride's purity.
Yes.
And there's always that thing too of like, oh, well, we've been living together, so I've chosen a champagne dress.
Yes.
You know, it's like, how about maybe I'm not going to be telegraphing my sexual history,
my status.
Yeah, like, hey, family, I'm 40 and I've never had sex.
Which is a weird
Which is worse.
I just want you
So
guys
much
to know
worse.
that.
Yeah. I'm 40-year-old virgin here walking down the aisle. I love the look of the white dress. I love the look.
The white dress is fine. My dress ended up being a bridesmaid's dress.
Oh, interesting.
And it was short, and it was more because I wanted something that looked like I would do at City Hall. And my friend was like, he was quite complimentary. He's like, it's nice to see a wedding, a bride not look like a cartoon. Meaning like, I guess it's to each his own, but after a while, especially when you're much older, it feels silly to have the princess fairy gown.
It should be, and no judgment, because you know this is just our
personal.
This is just our opinion, and I have done some making fun of brides' dresses on Instagram, which I've been threatened.
She's been doxxed.
I've been doxxed for my opinions, but there's something that's like a little much and not my personality about being like, the queen's arrived.
Yeah.
Hello.
She's here.
I've spent $5,000 on this dress and I'll be regretting it very soon.
And you don't wear it at all often. Some people have repurposed. I think about repurposing mine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think what my big plan is, I am going to get something on Still White. I want to get something that hopefully I find something that's unique and that's nice and that's within my budget, which is pretty small. But, you know, that's like my challenge that I'm giving myself. I want to find something that I like that also maybe has like a slimmer silhouette so I can wear it down the aisle and then I can also wear it to the party.
I've seen people have rented their dresses, and I think that's actually really smart. Because then you can actually go super high end if you want without the budget, because at the end of the day, it's not like anyone's ever wearing it again.
I might look into renting it
and
too.
then you have photos of yourself that you don't really need to go back and look.
You don't have to worry about like, now I'm trying to sell it again.
Yeah. And then sometimes they're always like, well, what do you, if you give it to your daughter and you're like, I'm getting married at 38.
Yeah, my daughter. Yeah.
My eggs are dead.
Well, I will be trying on my mom's dress. She's
Yes.
insisted that I try on her dress when I go next time I go home, which I think will be fun. But I also
When did
think
your mom get married?
1980. So I'm sure it's in. I have seen photos. She
True.
had a great wedding dress. She had like the kind of like sheer long sleeves,
I
which
like
is very
those.
pretty, very
Yeah.
pretty. But and I wouldn't be opposed to wearing it. But I think one thing that I can't stand is I don't like this thing now where it's like now you're getting like a bridal trousseau and it's like this is my white outfit for my bridal shower, this is my white outfit for my bachelorette
as
party,
if you're like doing shows in Vegas.
yes, it's too much. Like now I have like my pantsuit for the rehearsal dinner,
Yeah.
and then like 3 outfits on the night of the wedding. Again, like do what you want.
I fantasized that's what I wanted, but I just got so lazy. And also looking for dresses was really upsetting
Yeah.
because I don't know. I just found, I was like, I thought I had a decent body until I tried on wedding dresses, and it was very like depressing to me.
Really?
Well, like, not that I think I have like the best body, but I didn't think it was going to be so many things that were very unflattering.
I do find and some of the things I'm seeing with wedding dresses, like I have a flatter top. Okay. My asset is more of my arms. So it's like I'm looking at stuff where I'm like, okay, I don't have the chest for
Yes.
this. And the cleavage is a big selling point on a lot of these. So I'm like, I've got to go with I'm hoping for halter.
I love halter.
I love a halter. And then, it's like, welcome to the gun show.
Yeah. Oh, but
I'll be armed
Yes.
at my wedding. So yeah. And I will say though, I like the color white, but I am looking for something that's maybe like a little gold, maybe a little different, just because I don't love the tradition of like the all white wedding dress.
Yes.
I had a different cousin. She, for her wedding, wore a blue dress.
Oh, I like.
And she
I like
did.
it.
She did a whole thing, which I loved, where she actually did not go to this wedding, but I got the story from my mom. She had rented a venue. She told everyone it was her birthday party to get like discount.
It is. Once you tell them that you're doing a wedding
for my birthday
everything
party.
shoots up. Yeah.
And I think part of that is they do assume that you're going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And like. You get what you pay for. It's like if I'm going to come and have to do like 4 consultations with you about your flowers because you've never done an event before and you're kind of a nightmare, I will be charging.
Yes.
So I do, but also the wedding industrial complex, which we are participating in now because we're using it as content. It is like the way that they take advantage of women in this vulnerable time. I find it to be annoying. So I don't want to play into it that much.
Right. What's some other aspect? Oh, we talked about bridesmaids.
Oh, yes. The bridesmaids. I find this hilarious.
I opted out. First of all, the reason why is I didn't want to put my friends in financial turmoil.
Yes.
And then also that was another one, like, I don't need 4 or 5 people up there with me. I
Yeah.
got my sister and I just said, wear whatever the fuck you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I think for me, simplicity is going to be key to keeping the wedding manageable and
Who are
low
these
stress.
people that have the mental real estate to do group texts?
And you see this thing on TikTok now too, where it's like, every bridesmaid will be getting a $50
Yeah.
bag of treats that I've picked out. It's like, I'm not doing any of that. I just don't have time for that.
I don't have the time or the money for it. I don't want to give a maid of honor duties.
I know. And you feel bad too, because especially I am
People are
having
busy.
a semi-destination wedding. And it's like, I can't have people come on their vacation and then also be like, and you're scrubbing my foot.
Yes.
You're going to be in charge of doing my feet.
Well, like, I just want this to be kind of like a party that has a schedule.
Yes. And I've also been part of other friends' weddings where I've like officiated the wedding or I've participated in the wedding, not as a bridesmaid, but as a friend. And I find it to be just as a guest, more seamless kind of
Right.
like, okay, we know what we're doing here.
I do enjoy going to weddings and partaking in I liked this. I didn't like that. That was great. I've never seen that before.
Yes.
I liked Julia and Anthony's had a dessert room.
They almost had
That looked like everybody was going to do blow because all of a sudden you're like, where is everybody? And they're in the cake room.
I want to have something like that. I think that was really almost like a Viennese
Yes.
table, where they have like the Viennese table. You have to pick and choose what you want to do with the wedding. Like, I don't want to do favors. I don't want to do bridesmaids. I don't want to do anything like that. I want to have an overflowing table of desserts that I will spend my own like $7,000 on. I don't care.
Yes.
I want to have cake pops, cookies,
cannolis,
a little pudding,
yeah.
tiramisu. I really want to have that. I think it's
'cause
so fun.
Most people don't like the wedding cake. I liked ours, but it's mainly for show, but I like the option of the desserts.
Yeah.
I think that was great. We had a little cocktail party between the dinner
Oh,
and
yes.
the
Okay.
ceremony. And that was my favorite. In fact, I was like, I could have just had this as our wedding party but we also, I like a band, but a band's so expensive. So we got a DJ and they kept it was great because he kept the party flowing.
That's what I've heard, is that the DJ is important to kind of structure.
But they get annoying because they were like, they have a set playlist that you can only choose from their songs, and they don't like request. Joe's family kept requesting songs,
That's
which was
hilarious.
kind of
You're like, sorry, we'll be playing Cotton Eye Joe. Well, wait, going back to the thing about the bridesmaids, though, because I was telling you this earlier, the bridesmaid and the groom's tradition, or the bridegrooms, or whatever the guys
why
are
they're
called.
there.
It's supposed to be, it's like an ancient Greek tradition that it would be 10 bridesmaids and 10 groomsmen. And it was supposed to be to confuse the evil spirits of who the bride and groom were.
Yeah, I can't figure this out.
Who it is.
I'm in that one.
Yeah, I'm going into her.
Sucker.
Yeah. So that's why they're
That's my
all
sister.
dressed identically. Yeah. Now she's taking the brunt of it, which I just think is so hilarious, because it's kind of evolved into a thing of like, now it's like bride squad.
Well, am I making this up? Like, in the tradition of the best man is like, if something happens to the groom, you marry the best man.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. You're like, well, I have a backup.
I gotta look
it's
that
his
up.
brother.
I gotta look that up. But like, why is he there?
I guess maybe like, I like that the best man is there to like hold the rings, but also like, in my case, because we are older, and Mike is like in his, I would say late 40s, very late. But like, what are you gonna do? Like, now you're gonna have a bachelor party with your friend. Like, all his friends have kids, they're married. Like, you can't. It's not like we're having a weekend. Like, no.
Yeah, and then also like, especially also with the bachelor and bachelorette stuff, like that is also another trip that gets pricey. Like, they have to fly out.
Yes.
And then I will say, like, I don't give my friends enough credit. Like, a lot of them would come.
Yes.
But at the same time, I just remember where I was when I had to do a lot of like wedding stuff. And I was like, if I had the money, I would have loved to. But a lot of the times it created a lot of financial stress.
And it's also hard when people have kids too. It's like, now I have to find a babysitter for a weekend.
Yeah.
I don't think I will be having any type of, I'm not going to do any trip. I would love to do maybe like a bridal shower, like a picnic or something, something cute, fun,
here.
like with friends invited. But yeah, I don't know where the tradition of the bridal shower came from. That's one that I don't know. I don't know about the bachelorette party, but I do know the bouquet. That's one I know.
I don't think I threw the bouquet either.
I feel like not a lot of people do the bouquet now, because it is, it's like, if you have a gay friend, or, if you have like anyone who's not hetero, then doing these gendered traditions is kind of like, you stand in the corner.
Yeah. Not so fast.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. But also the tradition of the throwing the bouquet, which they used to also do like as they were going out of the church. And that's why they also would like throw the rice on you. I heard the thing where, they're like, you can't throw rice because birds eat it and it expands in their stomach. I heard that that's a myth.
Oh,
so it's
weird.
like throwing rice. The rice was supposed to be like sperm. It's like a fertility thing.
That's hilarious.
I went to a wedding where they did flower petals.
I thought you said where they did sperm.
Your dress is ruined. Now, I posted a thing recently online about like doing favors, because I think favors are a waste of money, especially like, it's like you're spending $20,000 on the wedding, and then you're supposed to be like, and now here's a trinket.
A wedding planner said most of the times most favors get left behind.
Yeah, and I think they do. And it's like, even if you're ordering like chocolate or something, like, you don't know, it might taste like shit.
Well, you know what you could do is maybe your centerpieces could just be plants if somebody wants to take those home.
I think that's fine. And also it's like you've been for like a night of wonderment.
Yes.
Like I think that's
And
why
you
I'm going
fed.
to put the money into the Viennese hour. But I don't know what the tradition of favors is either, but I had put online like nobody wants bubbles like we're adults, meaning nobody wants you to go into debt like for your wedding so we can be blowing bubbles. The backlash that I received online was some of the worst for bubbles. People love, apparently all these adults love bubbles, which is fine, but it's like, you know, maybe you're the reason your friend is spending 30 grand on her wedding because you're like, we need bubbles. Go buy some. Go buy some.
Where you will see where you can tell that somebody has money.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Is floral arrangement.
Oh my gosh.
When you see a wedding where you're like live flowers everywhere,
The long vase, that's when.
And there's floral everywhere. You're like, somebody has money.
And it's another fertility symbol.
Yeah.
You know, to have all these florals. It's like so many of the wedding
I don't notice
symbols
it
are
too
like,
much, but
it's a woman's vagina.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, when you realize that, I'm like, I'll just have candles.
Yeah.
I'll just have candles, maybe some bud vases.
You should just
I
have,
need to
like-
be like, my gaping. I can't wait to be fertile.
You just have like images of your vagina on each table.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a mold, a candle mold.
This is us. We had so the bouquet was like when it's from the Victorian era, like when women would go, and this is insane, by the way, when women would come out of the church with their groom, the other girls would run and try to rip a piece of the bride's dress off because they would think like, oh, it's good luck and maybe I'll get married next.
They must have been wild back
I mean,
then.
what were you doing? Well, they were also like using
Unhinged-
cocaine, like just medicinally, you
their
know?
opiates and their gin problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she would throw the bouquet to like get them off the.
Yes.
To be like, okay, here, somebody get that instead, and don't rip apart my handmade bridal gown, which I
No.
think is so funny.
Well, no, that's like, it is really wild when you find out what all these traditions are. You're like,
They're all
what
like
were they doing back then?
ownership over women, you know?
Best man.
What is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Best man served as an armed backup for the groom in case he had to resort to kidnapping his intended bride away from disapproving parents.
Oh my
This
God.
part referred to his skill as a swordsman.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. So our
From all that
producer
raping
Lex,
happening going on back then. It's
our
all
producer
about
Lex has
raping back
chimed
then.
in. A lot of raping. Yeah, he said that the best man was there in case the bride's parents were disapproving, so he would fight. He would fight the dad for the bride's hand.
I would love to go to a wedding back then.
Oh my God,
chaos.
Yeah, you're
She's
like,
like, I almost got raped.
yeah,
But we made it through a cocktail hour.
The best man killed my father. And then the whole family came into the room to see us consummate the wedding.
So pretty good.
Yeah, it was great. It was pretty great. And I'm pregnant now. And I'm property.
It's an heir.
We have an
It's
heir.
male.
Okay, I got one wedding cake, which I love. I love wedding
I
cakes.
do like wedding cake is good.
Even like when I see a nice wedding cake, I don't like the weddings, and this is just my personal preference, but like when they have like a dinky cake, you're like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
I want a giant.
Do you want tears?
I want a $4,000 wedding cake that looks like a castle.
Yeah.
And is also, sorry, that's spam calling me. Ever since I've been sending my email address and phone number to wedding venues, now I've been targeted
Just spammed.
by princes from abroad. But anyway, so the wedding cake originally back in Roman times, which is where a lot of the traditions come from, you would get like a little piece of fruit cake. Oh, this is what it was. They would get a little cracker and the guy would break it over the bride's head, the groom would, to
course.
symbolize that now she can't fight back because she's my property.
Yeah. And then she's like,
Yeah.
are you happy now?
Yeah.
You broke your
Great.
cracker.
Yeah, you hit me in the face. You hit me in the face. So good. I guess let's have sex in front of our family now. And then in like Victorian era, when it was when they had started having sugar icing, then that was like more of a symbol of the family's prosperity. It was like the icing.
After the attempted rape happened and they made
Yeah.
it through that.
Yeah,
then
after
they're
that.
like, I guess we can
my family's
bond
rich.
together.
Yeah. My family's rich.
You've made it through all the obstacles.
And that's also why most wedding cakes are white, because it's supposed to be a further symbol of the bride's purity. It's like you can see like a lot of the traditions started in Roman times, then they got like weirdly amped up in medieval times, which just sounded like apocalypse. People are just grabbing women and fucking them in front of their dad. And then in the Victorian era, that's when we see like a lot of the white.
They were like, guys, let's just symbolize it.
Let's just pretend that you've never had sex before, even though you're a spinster at the age of 23. What was the other one I was thinking? Oh, I know, the breaking the glass in Judaism.
That's the hymen, right?
I had not heard that, actually.
I thought it was the breaking of the hymen.
I had heard that.
Do I just make this up in my head?
That's hilarious.
I'm all like, you married the best man and it's to break the hymen.
I had not heard that. What I had read about the glass was that
Did I just find out my family's horrifically like anti-Semitic and racist?
That's what my dad always said. That's what my dad always said. The glass was because something great is happening for the wedding, is like something amazing happening, so you kind of balance it out by something bad happening. So it's like kind of like, oh, the other shoe is already dropped by the glass being broken.
This was the bad
so
thing.
now
that
we
happened.
can like move forward and break the actual hymen.
Yes. Which is bad luck.
There was something I read about. Yeah, very bad luck.
If you break the hymen, it's bad luck.
Yes. Breaking Bad. There's something I read about going over like him carrying her over the threshold, right? It was like, oh, I know. It was because back in the day, it's called the threshold because back in the day they had like rushes, like these weird weeds that were their carpet, and they had the threshold there. It was like a little lip, so they would stay in your home.
Okay.
But for some reason it's bad for her to step over it. Maybe she like trips or something.
Yeah. The last challenge.
She's
like, well, I didn't get raped and now I just ate shit in your fucking castle.
Oh my gosh. But so yeah, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I'm sure I'll be doing like going down the aisle.
I thought I really like speeches.
Yes, I think speeches is nice.
I also like bad speeches.
Oh my gosh, bad speeches are the best. What way could the wedding be more entertaining?
I remember, and I say this because this was talked about on podcasts, so I'm not releasing any new news, but Luis Gomez had a really good bad speech.
Oh, that's great.
It was at Gary Veter and Allie's, and he just mainly talked about how valiant comics are, and you don't, and you'll never understand us because we're in the trenches every night. Not one thing about Ellie.
Oh my god!
Where it was one of those
hilarious.
Where you're like, no,
talk about the meeting.
Yeah.
It's not just a speech.
Yeah, it's not about comedy. I know there's a lot of comics. I had that with I liked our wedding photographer, and I asked for candid. I wanted a lot of candid because I don't really like planned shots. I like candid. And I also think people look better candid.
Yes.
But because he was a comedy photographer, I think he focused too much on the comics, and I was kind of like upsetting. I would use him again, but I would just make a note being like, can you just focus more on the family?
Yeah, don't do headshots. That's hilarious.
I
I now know who your photographer was because you're saying that. That's so funny.
Well, it was just kind of like, I just didn't think about making that note. I was like, yes, it is a big comedy party, but like, looking back, I was like, there was hardly any photo. And then also Joe was like, well, a lot of your siblings were on their phones, and then my nieces were too. And I was like, true, but I would have liked to have those photos as well to use as blackmail.
Yes, my family texting during my vows.
Yeah.
I do love speeches. I also really like the idea of, maybe not doing like the first dance or, something like that.
We got everyone on the floor.
Having everybody dancing together.
And it was fun. It set the tone for the rest of the night.
I would like to do maybe even like a 2-hour cocktail party and then just have like a buffet or something. So you don't have to do the plated dinner. You can just focus on the mingling.
Yes.
Love a little mingly.
Move around. Are you going to do where you go from table to talk?
I don't know.
I felt pressure to do it just to say thank you.
Yes.
But a lot of times you're not seeing any of the guests.
You're not seeing anybody. You're just like in a blur.
Yeah, you're in a blur. I stayed on the dance floor the most time because I felt like that was my safe space of not mingling.
I'm just dancing my heart out.
Gotta go.
Gotta go dance. Thanks for coming.
Oh, an uncle. Shimmy over here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will keep everyone updated, of course, of the wedding itinerary and what we'll be planning. But yeah, I think no favors. I'm not going to do favors, but when I did write when I did make my post, my very controversial post where I said I think bubbles are unnecessary because you're already going into debt. People did, I thought, respond with some fun favor ideas, which I loved. In some cultures, they were like, "Well, we just give food, just give."
I love food. Like
giving
maybe
out,
a
like,
cookie with y'all's name on it or
cookie.
something.
I saw you can actually do Krispy Kreme individually boxed donuts that you
Do
could
that.
take, like something like that. I think is very cute as a favor. That's not like
They can eat later in the hotel room.
Yes,
I also like when weddings
snack
do.
boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
When weddings do after the big meal, we've been dancing a while. Sometimes they do like a late night snack thing.
Love
And
a
I
late night
love that.
snack.
And sometimes, a lot of the times, it's whatever town you're in is the food that's from or actually personal towards the couple.
Yes,
Yes.
like the wedding you and I went to was in Buffalo, and they had buffalo wings, and they were fantastic.
Wonderful.
Oh my god, they were so good. I was making myself sick at that point, just
And
eating
some
and
of those are
drinking.
my favorite food, actually, more
I
than
love
like the meal.
Yeah.
Because I did there was a wedding I went to in St. Louis. And we had fried raviolis, and that was so good.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yummy. I went to a wedding once where for the cocktail hour, they had like all the stations of like macaroni station, sliders station.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was fun.
I also do feel like when people are coming from all over, you got to do open bar.
Oh yeah.
I
you
feel
have
like,
to do open bar.
and it actually is not that expensive in the scheme of things.
You can even do a bar where you're like, let's just go cost.
You just
If
do beer
think,
and
like,
wine and like liquors.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if
I'll-
they want anything else, then they have to pay out of pocket.
I'll probably be doing something like that. But yeah, I think also when people are traveling for a wedding, keeping the favors like to food, because it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go on a plane with a tiny succulent.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
Yes.
excuse me, make way.
It's like the hat.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. Oh, I also recommended like I wanted things simple is like we just went with a place that does this as their thing.
Yeah.
Like an event place that does this weekend after weekend after weekend because they know what they're doing. Because I think a lot of people are like, I want it in a barn. But then you don't realize that a catering company has to come out and they don't have the things that are so easily accessible. And then also
Yeah.
I didn't want our guests to have to drive to another location. I wanted
Yeah.
everything in one location.
And that is one reason why I may just do more of a traditional wedding in terms of like doing like going down the aisle, doing the speeches, because I do think it's easier to do like there are options of all-inclusive cookie cutter weddings where it's like, great, they have the photographer, they have the DJ, and it's like, okay, now I don't need to interview 37 South Florida DJs.
And you have no idea, like for the DJ, we're like, this guy was like, we use this guy, he's there all the time. Where if
Great.
you're doing it on your own, you have no idea that you got the one person's like, I can DJ.
Right.
They're just like a meth head.
burgeoning, yeah,
Like-
a guy who just lost his family to court because he's like indigent, and now he's setting off on his dream.
Yeah, and then
you're
you're
getting like house music, and you're like, what about the chicken dance?
right. And then like, or they just don't show to your wedding, and you're like, where are you? And they're like, I thought this was next weekend.
Yes, yeah. You don't
And-
want. That's why I
And you're
do
giving
have.
them the deposit.
I do have sympathy for the show Bridezilla, and I'm sure they did some of their, fuckery that they are always doing on reality TV
course.
to like, they like wouldn't let you sleep or something.
Yeah.
They like had a car alarm going off outside of your window at night the day before your wedding to get you like into a tizzy.
Intense, yeah.
But like you do have to deal with that stuff, and you are kind of pushed into this corner of like your wedding must be like so amazing and special and your dream, and it has to be original and unique, and then it's like I don't have the background for that.
Yeah.
I'm not a party planner.
No.
Like-
Well, then that takes like a specific skill set for that. And then those party planners, if they've been in it for a while, they have a network that they can depend on.
Yeah.
It's like doing a recipe online. You're having a lot of faith in strangers.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
like the makeup person, like,
Yeah.
oh, great, hi.
Yeah.
You're looking like a drag queen. And I think like also because I am doing it, hopefully we'll be doing it at the venue in Florida. We will see.
What town?
It's going to be the town that I'm looking is north of Fort Lauderdale. I feel like Fort Lauderdale sounds like a trash town.
People shit on Florida, and I have to tell you,
It's lovely.
We love
Florida.
Florida.
Well, this is
Florida.
slightly north of Fort Lauderdale called Lauderdale by the Sea. Florida people are probably listening to this like, that's Fort Lauderdale, you stupid bitch. But yeah, more to come. And
I'm very excited.
yeah, I think it's going to be fun. And, I think the thing with the traditions, I guess to tie it all back together, is that like you can enjoy the traditions and being a nod to women being chattel. As, if you know, like, okay, I'm going down the aisle, wink, wink.
Yeah.
My dad's not selling me for a mattress.
Yeah.
But,
There's no business venture after.
yeah, but I don't have the skills to design where I'm like ziplining in. Okay,
Yes.
like it's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Like they're coming on a horse.
Yeah, no.
So, the other, I always think this is the one thing that's weird about weddings or marriage or getting married. It's the one business venture that you seal the deal with a kiss. Like you don't
That is
merge
so
companies
funny.
together and then you're like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. You have to kiss in front of us and
you
order this be
may
real.
Kiss the bride. That is so funny. That's so funny, and it is funny because like there is something I think that's very bizarre about the wedding itself. It's like you are actually entering into a business contract as
Yes.
though you are doing like kind of a merger, but it's got this mythology and romance kind of obscuring
It's
what's
all over the
actually
place.
happening.
Yeah, it seems kind of messy with how it's almost like how holidays are happening. You know what I mean? Like we talk about Easter, where you're like, that's a religious holiday, but it was a pagan, and then it's all this, and then we have
Yeah.
a bunny rabbit, and there's Jesus, and then you're like, I feel like that's weddings. You're like, it's a business venture, but then we have Roman things.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
That's such a great analogy.
like we're just keeping. We're like, why are we keeping this? And you're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
We always have a rabbit.
Jesus was nailed to a cross, and then there was a rabbit.
And then he sees his shadow.
I will tell you, I know the rabbit tradition was actually an ancient Roman spring tradition where they would slaughter a bunch of rabbits that they just found because I think it would probably help like cull the rabbit population, but also
Yeah.
it was like a symbol of fertility.
That makes
Isn't that
sense. There's-
wild?
well,
You're like,
rabbits
that's-
really do. Like they will
they get out of control.
double out of.
They go quick.
Yes.
They go quick.
They go quick.
But anyway, continue listening to Lady Journey for my wedding.
Yes,
My wedding
I'm excited.
venture. And thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, everybody.
Lady Journey.